there, cyber friends. It's the MIDI man again, saying peace and good tidings from Walker's Music with another word for today. I would like to apologize for the last couple of days. I hadn't did the word for today, and I hate missing them, but people, we know that sometime on the journey it gets rough, and we try to do our best, but nevertheless sometimes cares of this world, the pride of life, and sometimes, I mean, just being human, it seems to get us down sometimes, and we have to sit back and we have to regroup. So let's just say we've had a regrouping session, and we are back, and we're gonna continue on from where we left off. Today I want to just come briefly and something that came to me, and I think it's very, very appropriate for the time we're living in. And I want to read from the letter to Paul from 2 Timothy, 3rd chapter, and we're going to start reading at the 11th verse. That's all. 2 Timothy 3 and 11. He said, "Persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch and at Iconium, at Lystra, what persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. Yea, and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned, and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them." May God add a blessing to the readers, hearers, and doers of his holy word. Oh, what a mighty word that was from Paul, giving young Timothy, his young preacher, saying the persecution that he endured when he was at Antioch and at Iconium and at Lystra, and he endured them all. And he said, but out of them all, the Lord delivered him. He was saying, he was making note of this to Timothy, letting him know to keep courage. People, he says here that yea, and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. I want to tag that, and we want to bold face that. We want to underline it. We want to put stars beside that. You know, people in this past, I'm going to say a month, probably longer, but I'm just going to say a month, I was attacked big time attacks, and I had a hard time trying to figure out. And you know, sometimes we have a lot of head knowledge and we can forget the heart, and I didn't understand why. And then it just, you know, over and over again, one thing after another, and I was saying, well, what did I do? I was trying to find something wrong that I had done. It was my fault, you know, and I just couldn't figure it out. But all of a sudden, when you get to the last, your wit's end, God steps in, and he'll bring people up, and he'll bring people back to you. Matter of fact, I had a couple of my college friends that just all of a sudden just appeared. Found them through Facebook. One of my buddies, he's in character, Bradley McLester, and I was one of the other girls, our friends and college buddies, was named Brenda. She from St. Kitts. We met up and everything. We're talking about Berry Mountain Day, and then that lifted, and then it came to me. It came to me. Though that live godly in Christ Jesus shall, see that? He said, shall suffer. It's not if or maybe, you shall suffer persecution. Now, persecution doesn't mean maybe all the time just bodily affliction. And I mean, if you think about it, let's go all the way back to the Garden of Eden. Matter of fact, let's just go all the way back to the Cain and Abel. Abel was persecuted. Matter of fact, his brother killed him because his sacrifice was more acceptable to God than his was. Jealousy. He was killed for, you know, doing what's right. Look at Elijah. He was on the run most of his time from Jezebel and Ahab. Why? for doing what's right. Stephen was stoned. Why? Because he just told them to their face the truth. James, he was killed, speared by Herod. Why? For preaching the gospel. And the list go on and on. Even Paul, after he was converted, he was left for dead, stoned, left for dead. Many things had happened. Why? For doing what's right. So people, that hit me like a ton of bricks. If you are suffering persecution, be of good cheer. That means that you are doing something right. Because look at that next verse. Evil men will wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Oh no. So the sign of you living godly is going to be because it's going to be with persecution. You look at the patriarchs. Look at them. Look at the patriarchs. Yes, Jacob, Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They prospered financially. Yes, they did. But look at all the trouble that was in their house. You talking about dysfunctional families? Woo! Listen, Jacob, he cheated his brother. As a matter of fact, one of the sons that Abraham sent away with Ishmael, they yet fight. That's the Arab nation, the Islamic world. They still fight. So you see, it is no indication. The indication that you are living godly is persecution. You're going to suffer persecution. Look, Jesus suffered persecution. He said, remember what he told his disciples. He said, in this world, you shall have trials and tribulations. He said, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. So, people, take it from me, the man. I mean, you talking about God giving me a direct lesson. I got a direct lesson from him in this past month. Because in the essence, not like I'm saying, I'm not talking about nobody perfect. None of us are that. See, I don't even like to use that word because we already know none of us are perfect. But Jesus is. See, Jesus was the one paid the debt. And I must move on. I must move on. Jesus is the one paid the debt. So I am perfect in him. But outside of him, I'm nothing. So he said that the servant is not greater than the master. So he said, if they done it to me, surely they're going to do it to you. So y'all, look what they did to Christ. He was spit on, beat, eventually nailed to a wooden cross. But he did it. He didn't have to do it, but he did it for my sake. He did it for your sake. So when we are suffering for what's right, be glad and be of good cheer, because we know whose side we on. But people, I must say this, and I'm going to say this in this last minute. We better get ready because some more attacks are coming. The Christians are under attack, even as I speak right now. We are going to have to be solid, rooted in Christ. Because if we don't, our faith will fail. Because the persecution is going to be turned up in these latter days. I'm looking for it to come. We're not suffering now as far as execution and stuff like that there right now. But people, I don't think that's not unthinkable now. Believe it. It happened before, and it will happen again. And I believe there is going to come a time again where Christians are going to be persecuted, and some of us will lose our lives. But that's all right, because we know we have a captain, and his name is Jesus. So after my brief ordeal, struggling, being tested, my faith, I'm here to tell you, if we can't give up on God, because God never give up on us. Stay in the game. Stay. Fight the good fight of faith. Hang in there, because I read the end of the book. We win. Read Revelation 21. We win. We win. So this is the Middle Man saying peace and goodbye.